Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina. And for those of you that don't know who we are, Ron and I are the co-founders of the Ridge Project and the co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new.
A warrior.
A warrior that fights for their family.
Oh, yes. Fights to become a leader in their home, their community, and their workplace.
I tell you what, and you're in a great spot right now. If you're watching, don't change the channel because we're about ready to get deep in the sauce.
And we know exactly what we're talking about. We know what it's like to navigate through incarceration because Ron did 15 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. But in spite of that, our family and the kids and I that did the 15 years, we became stronger and healthier through that journey.
You know, once you come to grips with where you're at, dads, listen to what we're telling you here today. Right now, we're going to talk about coming to grips with where you're at and how to navigate through this struggle and having a relationship with your wife, with your kids, with your people, with your peers that are on the streets because you're living in an environment where, guess what? It's called a controlled environment. Mm-hmm. You've been placed in timeout, big people timeout. Right.
And so you are in the best place possible to do something, to create a new plan, to create a new foundation, a new legacy for you and your family. All the principles that we learned, all of the things that we learned throughout that 15 years to overcome every obstacle from incarceration, from social prejudice, to reintegration and reentry, to establishing a healthy, thriving family, we have encapsulated in our TYRO programs, including TYRO TV. Because our passion is to help you overcome every obstacle that you're going to face so that your family can become strong and thriving in spite of whatever society says about you.
You know, and this is not going to be easy. This journey is not easy, but it's worth the battle. It's worth the fight. Getting up in the morning, getting excited, putting on your armor, putting up your dukes, and fighting the things that you created in your life. Because the first battle, dads, is with who? Is with you. And you got to come to a place in your life where you got to make that conscious decision. Am I going to be my best friend today, or am I going to be my worst enemy?
And throughout your journey, you're going to face a lot of conflict. You and your spouse, you and your significant other, you and your family members, you're going to have a lot of conflict. So today we're going to address conflict by talking about how to win an argument.
Woo, and you know what? I love this. I love this because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm a winner.
That's right. I'm a winner.
Yeah.
So you do not want to miss today's show. You want to stay tuned because we're going to break down how you can win every single argument.
All right, so stay tuned and we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're going to talk about my pectorials.
No, we're not. We're going to talk about how to win an argument.
What?
Yes, and this is my favorite because I like to win.
So you know what? But the thing about it is, what is an argument where both of you can win? And that's what we want to really share with you because guess what? I'm a winner in this race.
So if you're going to really win an argument, that means that you're going to come out the other side of disagreements stronger, healthier, more committed, and really even build rapport between each other. Yes, even in the midst of an argument.
Because if only one of you win,
oh man, it's really the us loses.
The us loses. So say that again. If only one of you win, the us loses.
And so we're gonna show you like what this looks like. So you see this piece of paper here? See this? Like see how the writing on this side? See how this side is blank? So this is what couples do all the time. And this is the rut Ron and I used to fall into all the time. Whether it was on the phone or whether it was in person.
In the visiting rooms.
All the time.
And we didn't understand what was happening until we finally stopped
Whoa, until we
Listen.
finally realized and discovered, how do we really win? How do you win an argument? Well, we're going to tell you.
Okay.
What we're talking about.
So the story here is we need a blank piece of paper.
We have an issue.
We got an issue, right?
Oh, right. Here's a blank piece of paper, Ron. You can totally use this to keep all your notes
No,
on.
I don't think so because it's already got so much writing on it. I don't
Ron,
really
it
think we
obviously
use it.
doesn't have writing.
I need a blank piece of paper because it says
It
has too much
obviously
writing.
doesn't have
I'm
writing
not going to
on
have any
it.
room
It
to do what I got to
clearly
do.
is
It
blank.
clearly does
It
not.
is clearly
I don't know
blank.
what you're talking about.
I
There's
can't
too much-
even believe
Why are
you.
you always?
Why do you always
You never
disagree?
listen to
You
what
know
I'm
what? I'm
telling you.
sick and tired of
Always
this. You always have to be
You
right.
always
I'm
got
done.
to stop yelling at me. Listen. Gosh. That's what it looks like in real life, right?
Right. And so
who's right in this? Right?
Is it blank or does it have writing? Ooh-wee. So what this actually is, well, we do this all the time as couples. We stand on our sides, we put the issue between us, and then we start fighting and we start defending our perspective.
And our position. I mean, we'll fight to the end, believing that, you know what, it's more better in my life. Is that right? It's more better?
It's better.
It's better to be right. And I'm not going to give an inch because I know I'm so right.
I can see clearly that I'm right.
And I'm not going to give in.
So from my perspective, from my vantage point, I am the only person right. And so I don't care what happens to the us. I don't care how badly I damage Ron to prove that I'm right. And couples do this over and over.
So what I want to show
again.
you is, before we put that backcast, is really the goal. Listen, dads, the goal is no matter what situation and what you're talking about, is we all got issues, right? But to have the ability to take this issue and put it out here, and then I'll look at Cathy's side. I'll do the dance.
So now,
Whoa,
instead
you know
of
what?
the issue being between us, where I can only see from one vantage point and we have sides, what we're talking about when we say how to win an argument,
How to win an argument. Here we
how
go.
do we push this out, the issue, in front of us so that we remember that we're on the same team?
We're a team here.
And now we can navigate and look at it from every angle so that together we can resolve every conflict. So that together we've got all the information and we can come to a conclusion where even though we disagree at the beginning, we can figure it out as a team. That is what we're talking about when we say, how do you win an argument? We should say, how do you really win when you're fighting? The big win means that you come out of the other side connected as a team, thriving and growing stronger together.
Now, sometimes we're in the midst of it and we got our side that we can't, we need to breathe. And we're going to talk about how to really, when we get deep into this segment, we're going to talk about how do you get to the place where you're hyperventilating to where you can breathe and calm down and relax, right? Because this is really crucial because most couples don't understand this takes practice.
Right. Oh my word.
Right?
Yes.
Grown people with little boy issues demonstrate what we just did.
I'm going to win. I'm going to win.
It's
right?
my way or the highway, right?
Right.
Come on, dads.
And so then stubbornness sets in. So what we're talking about is going into a relationship, going into a disagreement with the mindset of how do I make this a win so that this doesn't destroy my family, so that I don't destroy and injure the person I care about just to win the argument.
Because everybody's watching. Everybody's watching. You know, what does this mean when we're talking about how to and it's okay to be in a heated debate.
Right.
Right? We're not talking about that. You're going to be passionate about something and you want to get your message across. But there has to be a us win, a winning in the us in the end of every issue.
So if we can push it out from in between us and make it so that we're on the same team and not sides, then we can even passionately look at every angle. We can passionately say, wow, look at all that writing, or wow, look at all that blank space. And now what are we going to do together? And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why that's so important. And we're going to actually break down for you today, how do you make that happen? Because that is no easy task. Taking something from in between you and changing positions so that you're standing next to each other on the same team is a difficult task. We're not saying it's easy, but it is the goal.
It is vital.
And it is achievable.
And it is vital for
yeah.
you to become successful, that you're able to navigate and manage the situations because listen, both of you are hurting. Your family is hurting alongside with you. Listen, you're in a place of right now, you're away from your family and we want to keep it real, right? Your wife is angry with you. The mother of your children is really disappointed. She's got to govern her whole household by herself, and she has a lot of unspoken issues that she's dealing with that she hasn't even told you about.
And you are both in a place in life where you feel discounted. Because when you are in the middle of incarceration, you are a number. You are like in part of this herd mentality, right? And so on the outside, when you have a loved one that's in prison, you are on the fringes of society. So you're feeling very discounted to begin with. So then when you have a disagreement or a strong opinion, you end up on opposite sides. And so what we are going to reinforce for you today is how important it is to push that issue out and how important it is to make each other feel honored, respected, and counted so that you can actually resolve issues instead of create more pain and more issues
And
in
more
your family.
and more division.
And more distance,
Yep.
right? Because think about it. Think about all of the times that you've had arguments and how many times have you just looked at your side and your perspective and demanded that you were right, demanded that you were going to win. It's the way we used to always do it.
We used to do it all the time. But you know what? But because we practice something different, we're able to take the issue and listen, the issues do try to creep in between us,
right.
but we're conscious of it. And before it sits still, before that foundation of the issue between us even has time to take root,
right.
we push it in front of us.
So we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to explain deeper to you why this is so important to be able to learn to navigate conflict together. So stay tuned.
And we'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through family days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about how to win an argument.
Yes,
or
and we
how to
all like to
argue
win.
and both of you become winners.
That's right. And so now we might make it look like, oh, this is so easy, but this takes a lot of intentional thinking through things.
Listen, gentlemen, it's all about you. Remember that.
Right, and
But
it's
when
all about me.
When we're able to put aside our opinions and about what our thought process, and we're gonna say, you know what, I want to make this work. I'm passionate about this issue, but I want to make sure that this is a win for both of us. Because if we put in the thing called compromise, always in our relationship, that means there's a winner and a loser. But I want both of us to win in this situation.
You are under an extraordinary amount of stress, and so is your family. And so we're going to get serious for a minute. So we know we've been having a lot of fun, and we're going to continue to have fun with this issue because it's a serious topic, right? And so when you have all of this stress, there is opportunity for extraordinary conflict in your relationship. And I know you've experienced it. You've experienced it on the phone, in your prison visits, even in letters. And it just feels like all you ever do is fight because each of you are positioned on opposite sides. And so you become the enemy instead of the friend. And so now the result of your friendly fire, you're killing your own family, you're destroying. So already the world and society is already putting constraints. Now you are just helping them destroy you.
This is so vital to your relationship, especially because your children are watching you, Dad. They're seeing how you navigate through this experience that you're having, that you created, that's happening around you, and that your wife is having to navigate, the mother of your children having to navigate through it. And guess what? Hurting people hurt others. And so we're going to keep it real. We know you're hurting, so stop saying you're not hurting, that you can do this.
It's okay to hurt. It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be angry. It's not okay to give up. It's not okay to continue to hurt each other. And so if you have to write all that down, write it down. Like, give yourself permission to feel what you feel. Give yourself permission to recognize the painful circumstance you're in. But then Also, draw a line in the sand that it is not okay to continue to hurt each other, because the world outside, society, is already tearing you down. You already have a ton of obstacles because you're an inmate, because you've committed a crime, or just because you've been convicted. Maybe you didn't even commit the crime, but you're carrying that conviction. So you're already walking with all of that. So now you have a responsibility to navigate through conflict that actually builds healing inside of your family instead of more hurt.
So if you put enough pressure on a pipe, what happens? It'll burst. Okay, so now the pressure could be an issue, right? Maybe the issue is you're not getting enough visits, or maybe the issue is the phone bill's way too high, right? And they can't afford it, and the issue is coming between you. But if you don't know how to navigate, if you don't know how to push that issue in front of you so the two of you can look at it in a healthy manner, it will not only create division and distance between the two of you, it will begin to fester a poison between the two, because now you're blaming each other why you can't get connected, why you're in a place you're at. You're going to blame each other for your heartache and pain and never come to a place of understanding where, you know what, we're in this together and we can get through this together. But instead, it's if you wouldn't have, if she wouldn't have, and you're blaming each other for the circumstances you're in instead of owning your side of the story, your side of the highway.
And the more angry that you get, the more frustrated you get, the more walls that go up, the more hurts that there are. And so then you have all these walls because of all this hurt. And so there's more and more distance because all these issues are between you now. Now you start experiencing, wow, she seems completely indifferent to me. She is so cold, I cannot connect. And so what do? You get more angry. You throw more gasoline on the flame.
So why is this important? Because what causes this is we take things personal, right? So we have a thing inherent at TYRO, the world of TYRO. The TYRO mindset is detail. And so we're going to get into that later when we talk about how to navigate through it and how to really overcome the self-pain. Cathy mentioned something earlier called friendly fire. And this is what we do. When we're not getting our way, when we're not getting our message across, because I don't think you're listening to me.
Or we're not winning.
Yeah, we're not winning. You know what? I will cut you down. I will tear you down. I will hurt you with my words, my actions, my attitude, because why? I'm not winning.
Right. And I have to be right. Being right is more important than building up us and our family strength. So it's so important that we change the way that we think about fighting and winning. Because if we don't, you're going to lose your family. I'm just going to be straight up. You're going to lose your family if you don't change your perspective on what it means to win. So if you can change your perspective on what it means to win and think about, you know what, the win is really truly that we are stronger, that our family is fortified, that we're more resilient, that we have fortitude, that we can exhibit forgiveness and friendship, and that we're walking together faithfully. If that becomes way more important than being right, then you can navigate through conflict and you can actually work towards understanding. So the big why is because you want your family to make it. That's why you want to learn how to win in an argument the right way.
Changing the culture of your family is important. Changing the genealogy, is that the right word? Genealogy? Not that one. I'm thinking about genealogy, but changing the outcome of your family for generations to come. If you're divorced, I could guess that there's somebody else in your family before you that got divorced, and this behavior has just been passed down. If you're an alcoholic, I bet you there's somebody before you that were alcoholics, and it's been passed down. Just like arguing and not being able to get along.
Let's stop tearing each other down. Stop destroying this relationship that you have total control over and start investing in it. So we're going to take a short pause. When we come back, we're going to tell you how to do it, how to build a fortress around your relationship that can endure conflict.
So stay tuned and we will be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program.
It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about Mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about how to win an argument.
Oh, that's a serious topic because we all like to win. I like to be right. I like to win. We've got
Sometimes
two
it
strong
feels
people.
good to be in an argument. Oh, I'm going to tell her what I think.
Yeah,
I'm going to give her a piece of my
prove
mind.
them wrong, right? But then that just escalates,
Man.
and what it does is tear down the us.
It doesn't work that way, gentlemen.
Right.
Take it from us. We've learned the hard way. And I
Yes,
know
sir.
you've all been there where you walked away from an argument. You're like, you regret what you said. You regret how you treated your significant other.
Now, initially, you might feel that burst of ooh, yeah, I just
Adrenaline.
want adrenaline.
Adrenaline.
But then
How do you say it?
Adrenaline. Adrenaline. But as that wears off, you start regretting because then there's a rift between you. And
Now you want to go
gosh,
kiss
darn
and make up. But guess what? Is that easy?
Yep, nope. It is not easy. You got to get past the hand.
Oh, get
right?
past the hand, boy.
All right. You have to get her to actually come back and see you again, right? Because the last experience she had was awful. So we're going to talk to you now about how do you do that? How do you create an atmosphere where you can disagree, where you can have differing opinions and yet still honor and respect each other and walk away from a disagreement feeling more connected? Because that's an incredible feeling. Like, it's one thing to feel connected when you agree, but it takes your relationship to a whole nother level when you can feel connected after a disagreement.
So number one is really D-tip. Don't take it personal, right? Really, because it's not about you. It's about us, right? And how we can navigate through that. So breathe, right? Breathe and think.
Because when we think about don't take it personal, because this is really important. So the first part is don't take it personal, breathe and think. In order to not take it personal, you've got to recognize the difference between a value statement and an observation. So if I say to Ron, wow, Ron, your collar's crooked.
And I take it as a value statement, I would normally respond like this. Oh, what's wrong with my shirt? So it's crooked, so what? Okay, I don't look good? You don't like the way I'm looking? What's wrong with my shirt? What's wrong with me?
You always got a criticism from me, right?
You always got to cut me down, right?
So, So that means that was Ron taking a simple observation as a value statement. So when you practice don't take it personal and you're breathing, then you're thinking, what did they just say? Was that really a value statement? Or was that actually just an observation?
So if Cathy were to say it again, do it again.
So Ron, your collar's kind of crooked.
Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I'll straighten it up.
Ah, great. And we're ready to go. Now see how much easier that was when it was an observation instead of a value statement?
I didn't take it personal. Right?
So that is step number one. It's kind of involved. Don't
take it personal.
Right?
Right.
So then step number two is now you're ready, now that you have self-regulated and you're not taking it personal, you can now listen for understanding.
This is really crucial, gentlemen, because if you can hear what your wife or your significant other or your children are saying to you, and you can then process what they're saying to you without seeing it as a value statement, and you're not taking anything they're saying personal, you can begin to really grow and listen for understanding, and then you can actually take the conversation to another level to where, you know what, let me make sure I understand what you're saying. And you can tell the person what they said. You can tell them back what they said, and you're not taking it personal. It's not an argument. You're gaining, you're growing.
You're gaining understanding because you already did step number one, not take it personal. So now you're mentally and emotionally prepared to go to step number two, which is actually listen for understanding, so that number three becomes easier, and that is staying focused on one issue at a time.
Stay focused on the topic at hand. Boy.
Because it's so easy to hear one thing and then go off on, well, you know what you did last year,
Go on
and
a
you know what
tangent.
you always and you never, right?
Go on a tangent, and you're talking about every other issue under the sun except the one you started with.
because you've built up all of this whole cache of issues between you. So as you're trying to push them out in front of you, it's really easy to grab a hold of things and continue to throw rocks, unless you're super intentional about saying, you know what? We're going to talk about the coffee cup. That's all we're going to talk about. We're not going to talk about dishes, plates, silverware. We're not going to talk about anything else, just the coffee cup.
And that takes practice.
It does.
So practice makes what?
Permanent.
And this is what we're talking about. You know, why is this important? This is to enhance, to elevate each other to a place where your children can see what a healthy relationships looks like. Because there's gonna be disagreements. There's gonna be arguments. You're
Right.
gonna get your feelings hurt. Things are gonna happen.
If you're in a healthy relationship, you're gonna disagree sometimes. It's part of being in a healthy relationship. And that should actually add spark to your relationship, not put out the fire. So number 4 is you wanna take turns talking and listening. So if you're doing all the talking, then you're really still on sides. If you're only doing all of the listening, then you are withholding information, and you're storing up hurts inside of you that are going to come out later. So take turns. Make sure that you're both listening, taking a turn, and both of you are talking.
And that takes, again, gentlemen, practice.
That's right. So let's review the 4 ways. How do you do it? Number 1, don't
D-tip.
take it personal.
Don't take it personal. Number 2, listen for understanding.
Right, because now you didn't take it personal, so you can actually hear and listen for understanding.
And number 3, focus.
Stay focused on the issue one at a time. And number 4, take turns talking and listening.
Take turns.
So when we come back, we're going to tie it all up and give you some final tidbits. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we've been talking about how to have an argument and winning.
That's right. I want to win every argument. But in order for me to win, really my whole family has to win. I have to come out the other side feeling more connected to my family, deeper understanding of them, and feeling more understood by them.
You know, a lot of times when I remember growing up and there'd be a discourse or an argument, disagreement in our house, there was always a winner and there was always a loser.
And
right?
that effect lingered for months. And you could see the poison that it created and the distance that it created in our families.
And it wasn't even the guy or the person who won. It was, I got my way. And even though that I might have got my way, or my dad might have got my mom, whatever it was, even in us, it still lingered poison within that person who thought I won. Because really, you didn't win. You got your way because you forced your way to get your way.
And so there's still that nagging dissatisfaction of, gosh darn it, why didn't they just understand what I was saying? Why did I have to say those things? And so that's still externalizing your own personal responsibility for regulating yourself, which goes to our number 1 tip. Let's just really quickly review those 4 things so you can write them down and so you can remember. The first thing that you're going to do and how to win an argument is you're going to practice D-tip.
Don't take it personal. It's not about you, Dad. When your children are coming at you and they're hurt because you're there, D-tip. Don't take it personal. Listen to what they say, because then the second one is to listen for understanding. Listen to how they feel and what they're experiencing because you're not at home.
And the third thing is to stay focused on one issue at a time. Every issue is tied to thousands of other things. But if you can compartmentalize and address one issue at a time, you're going to come out stronger and you're all going to win.
And I want to review real quick back to D-tip. ain't about you. Quit taking everything as a value statement, right?
That's right. Much of the time it's observations. Okay, and then the fourth one
Is learn to let the other person talk.
yes,
Right? Let the other person talk.
I love that. Learn to let them talk, right? So that you can listen. So take turns talking and listening. And I know that if you begin to practice these things in your relationship and you start moving those issues out from between you and in front of you so that you can navigate it together, you're going to become stronger.
So when we let the other person talk, listen, dads, it doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable, right? When you listen to the truth, because truth does hurt.
Right.
And when you allow somebody the freedom to, I need to hear what you're feeling in your heart. I need to, how do you see the situation? Then maybe we did something that we shouldn't have done, Dad, right? Or maybe we said some things we shouldn't have said, and it hurt the one that we love the most, right? You have to give them the freedom to breathe, to let it out, and to take it. But it's not a value statement. Just listen for understanding and let them get it out. Be that person in their life where, you know what? I love talking to you because you listen.
And you understand me. So we want to thank you. We want to take just a minute to thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey towards reaching your goals and creating a brand new legacy for you and your family.
Until next time, always remember, dads,
That
we are rooting for you.